where growth is intentional and impact is inevitable. So we ask that you don't just watch, engage with us. Don't just listen, but learn with us. And don't just sit back. Come take a seat at the table, because we are just getting started. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another episode Broadcasting Results with Rouse, where obviously conversations create accountability, awareness, and impact. I'm your host, Dr. Turquoise Rouse, and tonight, you all, we are joined with our current South Carolina House Representative, Roger Kirby of District 101. As we look at South Carolina, we want to make sure we are preparing ourselves for June primaries election. It's very critical. And so tonight conversation, we want to talk about leadership. We want to talk about accountability, policy, trust, and the future of our communities. And so tonight, I ask that you all help me welcome Representative Kirby to the platform. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Turquoise. This is really an honor and a pleasure to be with you tonight. I've been looking forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you again. And if you all are just tuning in, come on and take a seat at the table with him. If you all should have any questions, we ask that you put it in the comment box. And as we continue to go out tonight, we'll take our time to look and see if there's any questions that we could entertain. However, the disclaimer for the platform before we begin is we want to remind the audience that this platform is committed to fairness and a balanced dialogue for all guests. And so everyone is welcome to take a seat at the table. We do not endorse any candidates, platforms, or political parties. Our goal is to provide citizens with information so they can make a sound decisions at the poll. And so before we truly begin, um, we want to kind of get into the current role before we dive into the elections, because we know we want to hear from Mr. Kirby, but I also want people to understand the person behind the seat itself. And so tonight, Mr. Kirby, I want to give you an opportunity to tell the people, who are you behind politics?
Good. Well, thank you. Yeah, sometimes we get lost in just the politics, don't we? But yeah, so I'm Roger Kirby. I live in Lake City on a farm just out on the east side of town. My wife and I have been married now, wow, 37 years. Can you believe it? And just she's a pharmacist here in Lake City. We have three beautiful daughters who are all married, got wonderful in-laws, and three grandchildren. So love family is very important to me. Family is the center, really, of everything that I do and think about, particularly with policy issues. Um, and I'm a realtor. I'm an appraiser. I do a lot of commercial appraisal work. My business is Kirby Realty. We're right here on Main Street in Lake City. I'm the minister of music in my church for the past decade. First Baptist music. I love music. I love to sing. I love to direct the choir. Uh, I like hunting, fishing. Uh, I like being out on the farm. I like being out in nature. That, that really are who I am. I've been serving now in the legislature 12th year. I served for 8 years. I was 61, which was basically this Lake City area and all of Lower Florence County up into Marion County. And then we went through the redistricting process. And then the people of Williamsburg and Berkeley County welcomed me in the South Carolina House District 101 in the election of 2022. So I have been the representative for your area now for, well, about 3. So, um, so it's welcoming people, and I've met so many friends. I've met so many associates, and the whole directive has been kind of to just kind of build a team not only in the legislature, but also locally with your leadership and all of the towns and municipalities throughout this district, and including county leaders. So it's been a really exciting time for me to be in District 101. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the people really just kind of allowing me to be a part of the hopefully some of the solutions we need. There are a lot of needs.
So, Mr. Kirby, I sincerely apologize. I didn't want to cut you off, but it appears that we're having a little bit of technicalities breaking up on your end. So, could you just make sure your connection? Can you just say hello again? Let's test it just to make sure we can hear
Hello.
you. Okay, it's still breaking up just a little bit. So we just want to make sure you closer to your router, or just make sure you have some stable connection there.
See what we got here.
Okay.
Hold 1 second, please.
Audience, if you all would just come on in and just bear with us. We thank you again for joining the broadcast tonight to hear from Representative Roger Kirby. We just want to make sure that you all have a fair chance in hearing from him, just to ensure that his connection is stable. So if you have any questions, we ask that you drop them in the comments, and we'll take our time to review them and do our best again to answer them as we come. And again, welcome each of you to the broadcast as we are here with Representative Roger Kirby. We can hear. I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Good. Okay.
Thank you, thank you. And I hate to make you go all the way back again, but I definitely want people, if you could just, in a quick brief, just kind of tell us again. I want to make sure people understand two things I heard you said was farming and family. And if you want to just recap, if you feel necessary, just if it was anybody that just coming on or if it was breaking up. You don't have to go all the way in details, but I just want to give you a fair opportunity if you want to recap by all means.
I appreciate it. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I live in Lake City. My wife's a pharmacist here. We've been married for 37 years. We have a beautiful family, three daughters who are all grown and married.
Again, you all of you are just coming in. We ask that you drop your questions in the comments. As we know with technology, sometimes it can go in and out, but we're going to give him a fair opportunity to get a stable position with his connection. But if you have any questions, we ask that you drop them, I'm sorry, in the comments, and we'll definitely be looking at them as well. Representative Kirby, can you check your audio again? I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you. If you all would, just please bear with us. We still can't hear you. You want to go out and maybe come back in? If you all would, please bear with him for just a few minutes to give him an opportunity to come back on the platform. Just remember that it is election time, and we need to ensure that we all are registered, making sure we're encouraging each other to register, and make sure that we are ready to vote come June 9th if you decide to not do it during early voting. But we ask that you please just bear with him as he go out and come back in, please. And you still have time to text, call someone, and tell them to join in. We are here listening with Representative Roger Kirby. If you have any questions, we ask that you drop them in the comments. Yes,
I've got no idea.
it's okay. Hey, it's okay. Delayed, but we're still here. We are still here. You all, just for all the fairness, I appreciate your patience. But I definitely want to make sure all of our guests here that comes on the platform have a fair chance to kind of express who they are and what they're looking for from you. And tonight, he is a candidate that is seeking reelection. And so I appreciate your patience. He did kind of share with you all that he is from Lake City, South Carolina. Him and his wife has been married here now for 37 years with three beautiful daughters. And he talked about farming yet families. And so we want to dive in tonight because there's a lot of things that we know that is happening at the State House, Representative Kirby. And so we want to be able to pull as much of it out of you that we can. And so, audience, again, if you have questions, I ask that you please drop them in the comments. And so we understand leadership, right? Ultimately, people show up in the lives of where people see individuals like yourself serve. And so we want to make sure tonight we're talking specifically about District 101, which covers the mass part of Williamsburg County, a little of Berkeley County, and a little bit of Florence County. And so, can you tell us what are like your top three issues you see that you're facing for District 101 today?
Yeah, so I think you know, District 101 is predominantly a rural. Uh, Look at Berkeley County, start down on the southeast of the district, Fordsville, back up through Macedonia, Alvin, St. Stephen, Jamestown, and come on up into Williamsburg County, um, through from Sutton to Lane to Trio to Salters, back up through King Street to Cades to Hebron, all of those areas, and then up into Lake City and into Camp Branch area of Florence County. It's very rural.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
Lake City is the largest municipality in the area, followed by King Street. So the needs are great.
Mhm.
The rural South Carolina has uh, really for the past 25 years losing population, unfortunately, and certainly taxability remains an issue. So that that then has um, issues with our infrastructure. It has what our municipality do as far as services, uh, law enforcement. It affects everything. So the my entire uh, work really revolves around trying to create something that can then help our rural areas.
Mhm.
Although um, I spend a lot of time working to get specific funding for projects and that type of thing. The larger picture in the rural South Carolina is really being left behind simply uh, statewide tax policy and all those type things that really have this negative impact on us, all of us that
Mhm.
live there. So that's where I spend my time trying to help with policy issues, help, help alleviate, um, everybody who calls me talks about. I would bet 80% of the calls I get are about roads, and that's not an exact uh,
Mhm.
because across not just here but across the whole state of South Carolina,
Yes.
rural road systems are bad, arguably for
Uh, Mr. Kirby, if I can pardon you just again, because your audio is still kind of cutting out here on us, can you maybe consider another angle or just check your connection again for us?
Yeah, I really don't know what else to do here.
I can hear you clearly
Or
right there. I don't know if that works right there, but
okay,
it's coming off
okay,
very clear right there.
okay, good.
Okay. Mm.
So, yeah. So, what part did you not hear? I
I know
apologize.
you were talking about, 80% of the calls that you get are definitely about our roads. I did hear that part
Yes,
of it, but
yes,
I
they
just want
are.
to make sure, the audience are definitely having a chance to
Yeah,
hear you. So I know you were speaking in regards. The question I asked him was, what was some of his top three issues in regards to District 101, and he
road,
mentioned
infrastructure,
roads.
roads, infrastructure, education. That is those are the top three priorities.
Okay.
Obviously, economic development follows all three of those. Right?
Okay.
You got to have those three in order to successfully do economic development. So when I came over into District 101 3.5 years ago, there were significant deficits in terms of a lot of those things. Our infrastructure needs, our particularly with roads, our water and sewer infrastructure. All of those things are immediate needs,
Mhm.
I would say, and of course, um, the situation with healthcare is all interrelated. Turquoise,
Yes, sir.
it really is all interrelated. So the idea is that we have to continue making progress to improve those services. And that's what I've really devoted myself to for the past 3.5 years for this district.
Yes, sir. If we could horn, I guess specifically here in Williamsburg County, when you talk about roads and infrastructure, and even healthcare. Obviously, for the district, I'm in District 3. I always find myself to be included with the citizens that we are an area that is unheard and oftentimes left behind. And I would have to stand publicly here to say that I feel the same sentiments to the people. When I kind of look around the other areas of Williamsburg County, when I look at Greedyville, when I see King Street, and even down Hemingway, we have none of it. We don't have typically, as people would say, just a caution light right there between the Earls and Tri area. But specifically, something you said is healthcare. I remember many years ago growing up, Representative um, Victor Rao, who served our area very well, and I'm grateful for his progress that he made in our area. But the one thing I commend him on is he used one standing historical building, I should say today, to operate a bank, a post office, a convenience store, and that one setting that I say, although I know it's not the city of Trial, but it served our rural area people. To include with that, we also had a clinic that served our people. And I know it was a lot of adjustment with local government when that was kind of closed in our area, but nothing was replaced. And I feel like that leaves us with a kind of an eyesore to our community, because we still deal with transportation barriers in our rural area. If we take a survey to even see like where is that with our young people and our elderly, a lot of our senior citizens are still raising young people. And so the healthcare needs in our area is needed. Even when we talk about the hospital and moving it from King Street all the way out to 52, a lot of us stay literally 10 minutes to Andrews than we would ever be close to extending it from King Street to 52. And so I'm hopeful that I can plead for the people of District 3 that you can probably present a bill or sponsor something, even if it was just a mobile healthcare unit that will come out and be set up in our area stationary. I commend Hopewell, which I know Ms. Dottie May very well, in the services that she does, but she can't do it alone. And so I stand urging your support, if seeking this reelection, that you would help us help our people in regards to access to healthcare. Again, we understand structure takes money, takes, but I also feel like we can utilize other means to partnering with healthcare providers to see if they can come into our community and help support. Our school's been taken away, so we don't have that, and so we still have our young people that are getting up at literally 4:30 and 5 o'clock to get on the bus by 5:30 to 5:45. Some of them are leaving home much earlier than their parents, but yet they're still on a bus for literally almost an hour and a half still to get to school. And so we can just literally see how that can be for a child's well being, yet a parent in such rural areas. So I would have to add that definitely healthcare access in our community, I think, will be helpful for us. I understand the roads. That's definitely one too. I can literally tell you on literally every road down here in this area, I kind of already know where the bumps at, so I know how to go around them.
Where to
But
slow and turn to the middle of the road.
yes, so I understand the concerns of our people. So while we do need our roads, it's important that we understand our well-being, and that's to make sure that we have health care as well. So I definitely want to emphasize that, and just the turnover for just EMS services. And I get some of all of this is workers having money to pay them. I understand all of that. But I just definitely want to address that. I know that's some additional things that people do highlight for our area, in regards to being unheard, and kind of that follow through process.
So let's go back a little bit, Turquoise.
Mhm.
I heard everything you said, and I absolutely understand exactly where you're coming from because I see it. The whole issue with healthcare in rural areas is a primary importance, right? If somebody has a heart attack that lives down in the south of Salters,
Mhm.
first of all, there's there the ambulance services are minimal, and the response times are minimal. What I'm hoping to do is work toward getting an emergency care type operation down in that region because you understand, in rural South Carolina, the only rural hospital that has been built in the state of South Carolina, has been built right in here in Williamsburg County. That Black River Medical Care Hospital is the only one that has been constructed in rural South Carolina for the past 15 years. I say that to tell you that I fully understand
Mhm.
the lack of health care, and the work that we're doing to try to improve that is ongoing.
Yes.
So is the same thing with ambulance service.
Mhm.
So is the same thing with public transportation to get people to their provider. I was really excited also to see the new McLeod Center coming back to King Street, where there's a new family health care provider there in King Street. That's a big addition to the region for medical care. So this is going to be, something I'm obviously going to be concentrating on as we move forward. But you're absolutely right. There's an absolute dearth of that area down there as far as access to close range type healthcare, and I'm particularly concerned about that from the emergency standpoint,
Mhm.
um, of that. Um, the other thing you mentioned, of course, were the roads. Let me tell you a little bit about what we are doing with the rural roads. Since I got elected in 22, in 20 started, we've been increasing funding to our local CTC, which is the agency that gets staff that can then go out and pave these roads. Um, since in the past, really 3.5 years, we've gotten over 250 miles of road, which is over 500 miles, lane miles of roads repaved in Williamsburg County. That's huge. And the other part about that is in this year's budget, we worked to get the CTC funds doubled so that that should begin to even increase more. So yes, yes, we're making strides. They're not as fast as we want them to be, but we're making strides in the right direction, and that's the part that I want to communicate to your listeners. Um, it is we're moving in the right direction, and that has to continue.
Yes,
The
sir.
only way that continues is with the only way that continues is with a continued effort, a team effort, if you will, to continue to move the area forward.
Yes, sir. Uh, Mr. Kirby, when I heard, and I appreciate you kind of extending a little bit more in regards to that, and I'm sure the citizens will appreciate, you talking about that as well. And I want to make sure, when we hear about ambulance services, as you mentioned, as I expressed about healthcare, I understand too that, a lot of these things come from being able to have funding and the opportunity for people to get paid well, because we see that oftentimes why people stay here, they do work in other areas. And so I would want to ask you too, like, how are you, or what do you see to ensure that jobs and opportunity remain locally within District 101?
So that's one that is a little outside of my wheelhouse. As far as um, job creation is something we have to create the environment where employers want to come. Right?
Hmm.
We have to create an environment where people who make those type investments want to be there, and that's going to take all of us,
Yes.
the people, the education department. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
got to be a unified effort. We've had some expansions. We've also had some major closures in the region. Tupperware is one that I think of. We had a lot of people who worked at Georgetown at the paper plant, at
Yes.
the mill. Both of those have closed. Those are international issues that made them close, well outside of the scope of we. But what, for instance, with the Georgetown situation, that impacted our timber farmers. That impacted people who grow pine trees.
Mm-hmm.
Now that took away a lot of their market. So we've been looking to see, is there a way to get potentially some type biomass, or those type things. Those are things we'll have to work work on. But I fully understand that situation.
Hmm.
The bright spot is the so we know in this whole region, you know what the number one employer or the employment opportunity is right now in this
Can you say that one more time? I want to make sure.
number one employment opportunity right now in this entire region is health, nursing, nurse, medical techs. That is the number one place for where where there are job availabilities. Right? We have made a substantial investment. I'm talking about the state and your local delegation helping do this to make a new nursing facility and program through Williamsburg Tech to help our youth be able to have a place to uh, get a nursing degree. They have 100% pass rate right now, the highest in the state of South Carolina. We all should be proud of that.
Absolutely.
So those are the kinds of things we need to work toward to continue to um, support, and obviously the economic development side. We've got uh, these spec buildings that have been built. You've seen them. That have no one in them. Some of them, right?
Hmm.
So, an issue that I found out about a few years ago was we didn't have natural gas availability for some of these spaces.
Mhm.
So over the past year and a half, we've worked, and I say we, not just me, to get with Dominion Energy to increase their capacity so that we can actually get natural gas to these industrial buildings. That is very, very difficult to market an industrial building for a business and an industry to come in if you don't
Yes.
have access to natural gas. That is now underway. That construction is ongoing right now, and we anticipate that availability to be here soon. But that didn't happen on its own, Turquoise.
Right.
That those are the type things that when we talk construction, that,
Yes. Mr. Kirby, can you hear me?
yes,
Okay, I just want to make sure I still had you there. And I appreciate you expressing. It definitely takes time for progress, and I appreciate you expressing that. I do want listeners to hear from you in regards to you've been in office for several years, even before kind of the restructuring of you coming over into Williamsburg County more and partially over to Berkeley County, and now pretty much got Florence, Berkeley, and Williamsburg. But share with the listeners what is, since being in office, what is one thing that you truly feel um more that you have accomplished and is proud of in regards to what you want citizens to continue to follow you on.
yeah. The longer it seems that I started off working with the ag committee in the state house for 8 years, and then I transitioned over to labor, commerce, and industry. So I've done a lot of work recently with utilities, with roads. I served on this most recently, this Department of Transportation, a modernization committee, if you will, for the Department of Transportation to try to increase their ability to do the very things we need, which is pave our roads.
Right.
And we've made great strides with that. Like I just mentioned earlier, increasing that funding to our CTC is critical.
Hmm.
It's going to allow them to continue the progress that you've been seeing around you, to begin to try to move that further and further into our rural systems.
Areas. Yes, sir.
That's a big issue. That's a big thing. The other thing I've been working on a lot is insurances.
Hmm.
Insurance premium
Yes.
out of the roof. We did about a year and a half ago. I started on a study committee to begin trying to devise ways from policy perspective where we can get our insurance premiums down. And this year, I'll tell you, about 2 months ago, two of our big writers in the state, State Farm and Travelers, both announced rate reductions because of some of that work we've done. So that's something that I think we can all be proud of. Uh,
Definitely.
that's something that impacts everybody. If you've got a house or a car or a boat or anything else, insurance premiums are a big factor for us. So I've
Yeah.
been working along with my, we've made some very substantial progress, and I hope that that will continue.
Thank you. That's one thing, and I appreciate you extending that opportunity to kind of talk about that because the one thing I feel like voters, are paying attention to is, of course, it's election season, right? Like, we don't just want to hear about campaign messages. Like, I feel like people are just past that, but actually, what's happening in the state house. And so I appreciate you definitely identifying that it does take time and the progress in which you are making, and just to ensure that people understand that where we may not always see it up front, they can entrust that things are happening. And so it's all about the communication piece. So I appreciate you mentioning that as well.
Sure, and I'll say this: I'm not campaigning per se. I'm just trying. I want to just communicate to our voters, to our people, of where we are, where we're trying to go, and how we're going to try to get there. And I'm a very strong believer in teamwork. I work very closely with our local delegation. Senator Sabb and I are working very diligently in District 101 because he has all of District 101 in his Senate seat. And we've worked very well together as a team at the State House. I look forward to that continuing because I can't do this. Nobody can make substantial change or progress in the legislature of the state of South Carolina without developing a team.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is not just our legislative delegation, but a team in the state house of leaders who can understand what your issues are and help you move the needle, move the ball forward um, in on state policies and state investments to make substantive change. And that's what I submit we've been able to do over these past years in representing District 101. Look around and see that progress.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I do want to transition a little bit if we can. There's a lot that's happening at the State House right now. I think you and I can agree. And to our viewers, if you have questions, I ask that you drop them in the comments. But I really want us to be able to have an opportunity to hear from our current representative because it is a lot that is currently happening in the State House. And the one thing I appreciate you're saying, Representative Kirby, is going to take all of us
Yes.
for what we are facing right now. And so I want to talk particularly right now on the educational side. There was a bill out there that was banning grading floors. And this bill pretty much requires grades to reflect the actual performance. And it was passed. And so I kind of want to hear from you, like, what was your perspective in regards to this bill?
Yeah. So apparently, there's been, and I don't serve on the education committee. I'll put that out to start with.
Yes.
The work I've done in education has been to try to get increases in teacher pay and increases in capital improvement funding for our school districts, particularly our rural school districts. The issue with the grading curve, as it was described to us on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
was that there were vast discrepancies among different school districts in terms of what that actually meant. If it was a situation where certain criteria had been met based on test scores or otherwise, where there were really vast disparities on how those reported in terms of grading. My impression is that bill was to try to codify that on some level. And again, I don't claim to be an expert in. My daughter's a teacher, so fully understand some of the frustrations our teachers have, and obviously, our students are our most valued asset.
Right.
So that's very important. I just can't tell you that I have a wealth of knowledge about
Right.
the grade because
And
I
I
don't.
listen, and I appreciate your effort. The one thing of it is, when these things are act from our leaders, is that you do acknowledge, right? You don't run from the question, which my second part of that question was going to be on teachers' effort, more pay, obviously, because, like you say, you have a daughter, so you got firsthand experience to hear from her for what that looks like. And then the impact of what that does for our rural area in our school system. So I appreciate that because that was going to be my second part question. So I do
I,
want to give you an opportunity to speak on that if you
yeah,
have.
let me follow up on that if I may.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that we've seen, and I know this is impacting Williamsburg County School District because I've spoken to their leadership. The issue that um, our teacher pay when we first started, and I'm talking about now state policy wise,
Hmm.
moving teacher pay, we were 43rd in the country at the bottom.
Hmm.
We've, over the past 5 years, moved that pay gradually upwards. In this year's budget, the starting teacher pay in Williamsburg County is going to be $50,000. That moves up Turquoise to number 22 in the country. Not the best, but we're not number 47.
Okay.
And it's taken that time to move that because these are very, very expensive uh, line items when you start moving teacher pay for base salary across the entire state. But I'm really proud of that. It puts us in where that we are now competing with some other southern states as far
Mm-hmm.
as teacher pay. So maybe we can attract more teachers to come here.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited about that. Uh, we are obviously. I would love to see a new school built in Williamsburg County. You for a new high school there. And that's something I would love to see done while I'm in service in the state house. And I know that Senator Stab shares that sentiment. So we're going to continue to work toward that because I think it's important. Our children deserve it, and I want to be a part of that.
Thank you. What you just mentioned, I was about to say Senator Kirby, but Representative Kirby is something you said earlier in regards to working towards that. And I appreciate your effort that you did on behalf of the teachers for that increase and just bringing more or attracting more people to the area. But it's also something you said earlier in regards to affordable housing, because that's going to also be important that as we track these people to teach in our areas where they're going to stay.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you just mentioning that because all of that goes hand in hand. Um, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That yeah. So I had a very good meeting 2 weeks ago with the housing authority, South Carolina, and they have a program now which will allow developers to come in and build affordable housing with a $25,000 forgivable down payment assistance for working families. And this is something that over the next course of year or so, I'm really going to be trying to figure out a way to get some of these affordable housing developments ongoing in our region, in Lake City, King Street, in our areas, because you've got to have housing for people.
Yes, sir.
Move to your place if you don't have somewhere for them to,
Absolutely.
and that's critical. But there are some initiatives out there that are now ongoing that I really feel like are promising. They're trying to finalize some funding for some of these programs, but the programs are being developed as we speak, and I'm really excited about that.
Thank you. I appreciate you just giving that. And you can let those development know we got plenty land out here on the stretch of 521 will. Millions of people travel year to year from 95 to Myrtle Beach. So they
And,
can come on down. You know, Berkeley County is thriving. Every time I go that way, it's something new. And Lake City is doing an awesome job. Yet here in Williamsburg County, it would be good to extend that down here on this side of 521. We got plenty of land. So we would love to continue to build up our area so they can benefit all of us as a whole. Another thing I want to ask you about that is again, you all we're gonna be at the state house for a little bit because I definitely want to give Representative Kirby a chance to tell you all what's definitely happened because it's important, believe it or not. While he is seeking re-election and we're gonna have time for him to tell you all, you know, what he's asking for you. I also want you all to understand what he's is facing during session. There's another bill out there, sorry, Representative Kirby, and you mentioned your wife and three daughters. Bill 1095, as it talks about women's rights and abortion. Can you tell us your stance in regards to that bill and how that may affect or what that looks like for the females or the citizens that you serve here in District 101?
so, Turquoise, there's been an ongoing assault on women's rights. Uh, I have been a very firm and long-standing advocate for women and women's health care, in policy and every other way. We actually had a bill on the floor this year which would have made uh, a woman who had an abortion be liable with the death penalty.
Right.
I mean, that's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that people can actually think that way. Um, I, but not only that issue, there are other issues as well, that really demand our attention. In the state of South Carolina today, there are 16 counties that do not even have an OBGYN. 16. And here we are trying to limit women's right and availability to health care while at the same time not acknowledging that many women who live in this state don't even have access to get health care.
Absolutely.
That is just not that's just not acceptable. I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you for acknowledging that. You all, again, if you have questions, we ask that you drop them in the comments, and I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in here tonight. Just a couple of weeks ago, if not probably a week ago, we all seen and it made national headlines down in Orangeburg, South Carolina, with the students at South Carolina States that made a very peaceful, I should say, positive impact on the campus as they stood up for what they believed they wanted and what they felt like they deserve in regards to their accomplishments for graduation. And that was accepting the invite to have the lieutenant governor speak at their graduation. That stirred up a lot. However, now we are facing the one district that we have on a congressional level. They're trying to take back what happened in 1965. And that's our Voting Act right, you all. And that's why, again, I say that it's very, very critical. I echo or empathy Representative Kirby and all members of the House and the senator side, because today they sat in a session that probably was all day, and I'm gonna have them a chance to talk more about that. That now they want to revisit this particular bill to extend the restructuring of our area, and we, I must say, cannot have that happen. And so, Representative Kirby, I do want you to speak on that in your own way, and whatever you can encourage us or ask of us in regards to that, please, take your time and express that to us.
Yeah, so we've had there's been discussion, conversation. You've seen national conversations about redistricting. There's there's obviously a fear that this started in Texas. Texas did a redistricting by California, and then that moved out and to Virginia and a number of other states. South Carolina was holding firm, and there was a decision, there was a determination. We were not going to do that until yesterday at lunch. There was a call made by the president to our leadership to redistrict number 6. Well, you can't redistrict one district. That's Congressman Clyburner's district. You can, if you start redistricting, you're going to have to redistrict the entire state.
Everyone. Eh,
That's what is going on right now. The House passed a resolution just this afternoon, a second resolution, and the Judiciary Department will be tomorrow beginning meetings on redistricting our congressional district. Now, what that means, I don't know. I don't know if it passed. I don't know what it looks like. We've been given. I'll show you. This is I don't know if you can see this, but this
the
is
map.
uh, of a proposed redistricting for our state. I don't know what that looks like. Nobody does at this point. I've been in consult with Congressman Clyburn in his office. regarding this. Obviously, it's very concerning, but we just don't know at this point if, how, and when it'll happen. But it's very disruptive.
Yes, sir.
These congressional candidates have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in their own campaigns, and at this point, they don't even know if they're going to be representing the district they've been campaigning in. It's unbelievable.
Yes, sir. So, Representative Kirby, while you mentioned that, we do have young voters out there that is probably watching, but are very kind of unsure of like, what should I do? What would you encourage our young voters to ensure that they continue to trust the process right now?
Here's what I urge everyone to do: be sure you're registered. It's easy to check your voter registration. You just go to SC Votes, hit check registration. You put in your name, you put in your social security number, and it says, yes, you're registered.
Yes.
Or it says you're not. If you're not registered, get registered. We have got to vote. We got to turn out this election cycle like we've never turned out before. Because that's the only thing that can make a change, Turquoise. Your vote is your voice. I can say that a million times, and it will ring true every time I say it. It's the truth. We've got to turn out like we've never turned out before. And we've got to do it now in the primary and in the general election through this cycle, because we've got to have votes. We've got to have numbers back in the legislature, in the House, in the Congress, and the Senate. And that's the only way we can do that is with your help.
What's your slogan? Roger that.
That's right.
Roger that, everyone. Um, we want to transition, Mr. Kirby, because you mentioned something about the primaries and obviously the general. And so, a fair opportunity, I think it is for people to understand kind of where you stand at as we lead up to June and what you're hopeful for November. And so, we want you all to know that we are shifting into an election season where Representative Kirby has opposition. And so he's not the only candidate where he's seeking reelection. He has opposition. He has two other candidates that are also seeking an opportunity for this seat as well. And so, can you tell the viewers what separates you from your opponents?
Well, Turquoise, quite honestly, I don't know that much about my opponents. All I can tell you is that I know I'm prepared. I know that I have built relationships and attained levels of leadership in the South Carolina House of Representatives that you can't develop in a year or two or four or six. It takes time to be able to actually have impact on decisions in the South Carolina House of Representatives.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm the only candidate in this race that has any level of experience in the South Carolina House of Representatives.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Appreciate.
committed to Williamsburg County and Berkeley County and Florence County and District 101 to continue making progress for our area. And I'm the only candidate who can provide that level of service.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to express again? I appreciate you sharing about your leadership and you being the experienced individual at this current time because you've been in not just particularly this seat, but even before the redistricting, you've had an opportunity to serve many communities or citizens, I should say. And so sometimes we kind of look at this opportunity like, why do we feel like um, the district itself is 101 is kind of looking for change. So is there anything that you kind of want to horn on again as another opportunity for people to understand that while we do see opposition here, um, why they should continue to look forward to working with you?
Well, again, I listen. It's as confusing as these times are now for everyone. with all the national news that's coming down the pipe and the uncertainty in the economy and this and everything, it seems like every day, if you turn on the TV, you're going to hear something that's disturbing, confusing, and usually both. And I get it. People um, are restless about politics in general.
Yes.
And certainly, I think it's easy to just say, throw the bums out. I think there's a sentiment that permeates everybody. Um, I would just ask that when you're making a decision as a voter on who you want to represent you in the South Carolina House of Representatives, please think about what we're working toward, what we've done, our measurables. I mean, I've got I've got the proof of what we're doing. It's not something I'm promising you. It's something that I'm doing, and that's what I would just ask you to consider that when you're making any decision on, particularly on South Carolina House Seat 101.
And what's the slogan?
Roger that.
Roger that. I do want to. I want to make sure people are following you. Okay, so let's kind of carry them to if June comes and you should succeed this seat.
Yes.
Okay, because we wanted people to kind of know what you still would have work to do. And so this year, you all, if he should succeed in June, he would still have opposition in November because
That's
we do have somebody on the Republican ticket that is also running for this seat. And so while it's him and two other individuals currently now on the ticket for June, if Representative Kirby should succeed, he still have opposition. And so what would you like to express to the citizens that if you should succeed in June, what support will you be asking them for when it comes to November?
Well, certainly the main thing is going to be just be just showing up. I feel like I've got a very broad base of support. As a matter of fact, I know I do in Williamsburg County and in Florence County and in Berkeley County. My ask is that all of all of you, all of us, show up and vote because this is going to be the most important November election in our lifetimes. And I know you've heard that before, but arguably, with everything that's going on right now in Congress and in our state government, with our governor's races and our Senate races and our congressional races and in even our statewide races like attorney general and all of those seats. November of this year, this November election will be the most impactful and necessary elections of my lifetime, in terms of being able to make progress for change.
Yes, sir. I will pose a question to you, Representative Kirby. Since taking the seat that you took for District 101, is District 101 better today than when you first took this office?
I will wholeheartedly say that we've made incredible strides in District 101. We have brought over $20 million in reinvestment into District 101 since I've been in this seat. And that is something that I'm very proud of. We just finished our H2 budget this week, and I can't wait to share with everybody some of the things we're fixing to do.
Okay.
Um, there are some other new initiatives. Well, I'll tell you one of them. We were able to secure funding for Williamsburg Technical College to build a truck driving training course, and along with the parking lots and all those kinds of things that are needed to do that. That's going to be an incredible asset for our area. for where people can learn to uh, drive long distance trucks and just trucks in general to get their Class C licenses
Yes, sir.
right there at Williamsburg Tech in King Street.
Hmm.
And that's going to be a great asset. We're continuing to work on getting funding for our nursing programs and our medical training programs in Williamsburg County, which I'm excited about. We've got improvements going on down in Berkeley County, St. Stephen's area, and back over to Alvin community. We've got improvements going on here in Lake City with some recreation things. We've got a big recreation announcement coming in King Street for the town of King Street. So yeah, there's a lot going on and a lot that I'm very proud to have been a part of, and I'm so excited to be able to see that progress continue.
Thank you. We do have one question here in the comments, and it asks, "What is your take on the violence that is going on within Williamsburg County right now?" They mentioned that I believe
Horrible.
they're trying to say that King Street literally just had another shooting. Is there anything that you want to mention in regards to that?
Yeah, it's horrible. We have Senator Sabb and I have actually had a number of meetings, not only with local law enforcement but with SLED. Uh, Try to get some additional assistance there. These are children with
Mm.
guns. The bulk of these shootings have been with children.
Right.
Uh, just unbelievable. It breaks my heart to see that. This is going to you're talking about an all of us approach.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely going to take an all of us approach to begin to answer that, to begin to make a difference in that. Um, where if you see something, you've got to say something. You cannot. We can't allow children to have handguns. Period. It's illegal. They they just we just can't. We've got to find a way to persuade the children, the the friends, the relatives, whoever.
Hmm.
Not just we can't allow this. We just
Thank
can't.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it. We do have another question. And if you would, can you be a little bit more specific so Representative Kirby can understand when you ask about what equipment to work with? Are you particularly talking about roads? Can you identify what equipment that you are mentioning so that he can make sure he,
Uh,
answer your specific question? 'Cause I'm not sure.
while you find that answer, let me tell you something we are doing in this year's budget.
Hmm.
We're doing some enhancements in this year's budget, community reinvestment enhancements for our local sheriff's departments, which are designed to give them some upgraded equipment that they need because they've been underfunded. The county, as you know, our local counties' budgets are somewhat stretched, and that may be putting it mildly. But there's some equipment needs that our sheriff's departments have and that are ongoing, and we're trying to answer that with several things in this year's budget allocations.
Thank you. Mr. Green, I'm hopeful that if you were mentioning about law enforcement equipment, he just talked about that a little bit, but if it's some other equipment that you are talking about, if you would just drop it in the comments so that he can, answer them if need be as well. Uh, what's your vision, Representative Kirby, as you are seeking reelection for the next 2 years?
So my vision is to not only continue with the initiatives we started, but to, my goal, my real hope is that our communities can unite together with some shared vision, shared purpose of where they want to go. I'm not, I don't foresee it to be my job to tell, for instance, Trio where they're going. My job is to understand and have Trio and Salters and Lane and Greeleyville and King Street come together, and they are coalescing, but to come together and identify what their vision is for themselves. And then let's all work together to get there, because that's the only way it can happen. That's the only way it can work. We cannot make any progress if we are splintered and divided and all going in different directions. There's got to be time to have vision, shared vision, and purpose for all of us to be able to really truly move the ball forward, and that's what I'm committed to.
Thank you. So I just have a rapid question so that people could again continue to get to know you a little bit. And so, just thinking of one word, what describes your leadership style?
Huh. Uh, well, I, I think the main thing about my leadership style is simply this: I am a team builder. That is my gift. I think in terms of what I do at the State House. I am the assistant minority leader of the South Carolina House of Representatives, which means that the all of the democratically elected representatives have asked me to be their leader, and that's what I do, because we build teams, and that's the way you make progress, because you cannot get anywhere if you're divided. You all have to be on the same accord, and that's my forte. I'll say it's what I what it's what I think works. And I
Yes.
know.
Yes, sir. So, funny opportunity. You mentioned farming. You mentioned hunting. What is one thing that citizens don't know about you that would probably be like, wow?
Well, I play guitar and harmonicas. I love to sing. I love to write songs. I love to play music, and music's a big part of my life as well. And I love to play pickleball.
Oh, look at that.
I want y'all to come out and play some pickleball with me.
Okay, see, that's getting to know you a little more. I wouldn't have known pickleball, but good. That's good to know. Then maybe we can move you on to tennis.
That's right. I may be
um,
too old for tennis.
it's okay. We'll
I,
go at the slow pace.
I
Nothing
play
else.
tennis too. I love it.
A question here. Let's see if it's more of a question or a statement. It says, I think the question will be road construction equipment for Williamsburg County, where the
Yeah.
county does not have to depend on the state equipment. Is it anything you want to,
Yeah.
piggyback on in regards to that?
Yeah. So let me just let's that's a long answer to a short question, but I need to address it, I think.
Yes, sir.
Years back, every little town, every little municipality, every area had their own road paving equipment. They had something to go out and patch potholes. They had dump trucks, they had backhoes, they had rollers, they had the things that they needed to do that. Over time, over time, when the funding changed with Act 3, there was a tax act that was passed back in 2007.
Okay.
Completely changed the way our local governments are funded. It took away funding from a lot of our owner occupied properties and spread it out to commercial properties. And the net effect was our municipalities lost a lot of their funding capacity
Mm,
with that tax act. So what then happened is, over the next several years after that, you started seeing all of our municipalities, almost without exception, getting rid of all of their road maintenance equipment because they didn't have the money or the budget to maintain it, to
mm,
keep it in operation. So then they started depending on the Department of Transportation through their CTCs. You remember we talked about the CTCs earlier, that we're increasing funding for the CTCs to come in and do that work. So I don't know who asked that question. It's a great question. I've often wondered if we wouldn't be better off to equip our municipalities with some of that basic equipment. And I'm not talking about going out and repaving roads, but to be able to at least maintain their roads for potholes and that type thing, and figure out some funding stream for that. I really don't know that that would be a bad thing.
Mhm.
Um, However, currently that's just not the way our road repairs are being funded in the state of South Carolina. That doesn't have anything to do with Williamsburg County or Florence County or Berkeley County. That's just throughout the state.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Again, you all, as we begin to wrap up here tonight, if you have any additional questions, we ask that you drop them in the comments area. I want to recap a little bit about what we heard from Representative Kirby tonight, because I feel like it's important for you all to kind of hear where he was tonight and kind of what he's asking of you as he seek reelection. We kind of started talking about him, and he expressed that he's into farming, and he talked about not just the farming piece of it, but how his family is very important to him, and so that serves a little bit about the care that we're hopeful that he will continue as we look forward to District 101. And so we went on to kind of talk about a little bit about policies, and he expressed infrastructure. We talked about housing. He talked a little bit about what he could speak on in regards to the funding that is coming to Winsburg Tech. And they're hopeful for a big announcement with the recreation in King Street, South Carolina. And so while we say all of these things, we also understand that there is progress. The one thing that I emphasize on, because I hear it off the time where our senior citizens, is we have to go so far for healthcare, especially in our rural areas. And I get it. And so I'm hopeful that as progress comes, that we can make some adjustment to these different concerns that our citizens do have in working with you, Representative Kirby. And so when I look at tonight, you all, it wasn't an opportunity for us to be comfortable. It was an opportunity to get clarity for someone that is seeking reelection. Because we often know that when it comes to elections, it is about choice. And I want to make sure that this platform provide each and every one of you a sound decision in regards to who you are looking to reelect come June. Because leadership comes with responsibility. And so if your support is him, we got to make sure we hold him accountable. We got to make sure that as he continued to seek reelection, that he assures that the citizen is ready to be fired up and we're ready to blow his phone up to ensure that he is continuing to do the work of you, because he's up there doing the work of you. And we understand that sometimes these journeys could be stressful, like today, just going through this voting act, just thinking about women's rights, and just a lot of things just for the mass of those that want it to be in their favor. But most importantly, at the end of the day, we need people to go and vote.
Yes.
We need people to go and vote. And so tonight, Representative Kirby, I first want to say thank you for being willing to join the platform, answering the questions. Because sometimes I think it's good for leaders like yourself. I appreciate one of our conversation you had. You said, I'm an open book, Turquoise. And so I appreciate you being willing to be an open book here tonight to address. Sometimes it could be kind of the most difficult questions somewhat, or challenging, because we want to make sure that we fully convey the message for the betterment of the people. And so I thank you for being an open book here tonight to express the concerns to the people. And I do want to leave an opportunity for you to close out with telling the citizens what you're looking forward to on June 9th.
Thank you, Turquoise. First of all, let me thank you. Let me thank you for opening this invitation for me to be your guest. And I really do appreciate it. You really are a very talented host, and I appreciate this opportunity. To the people, I'll say, I just ask you for your prayers. I ask you for your continued support. You really brought me in 3.5 years ago to be part of this family, and I will promise you, I will continue to work in your behalf. I again, I urge you, and please, just please continue to work to bring your communities together. Bring let's if we have unity and unity of purpose, we can do great things. And I want to be there to be a partner in that.
and I just appreciate your support. I appreciate your advice. Many of you out there listening, I'm sure, have my phone number, and I'm glad that you do. And I don't mind anyone having it. My cell number is 843-598-0775. I'm easy to reach. If I miss you, it's because I'm probably in a meeting, but I will try my best to call you back. And I think if you ask anyone who has reached out to me, they'll tell you that very thing. So I appreciate it. I'll continue to work for you, but I need you to vote. I need you to vote, not just for me, but for our state and for our country. I need you to show up in mass numbers, and we can get this boat going in the right direction if we all pull together. So thank you. God bless you. Turquoise, thank you again. This has been a joy, and I've really enjoyed being with you. Thank you very much.
What's the slogan?
Roger that.
So you all on June. It'd be so funny the way he said. I'm sorry. On June 9th, you all, Representative Kirby is asking that you all go back to the polls and re-elect him as your House representative for District 101. It's been an honor to have you here tonight. You all, it's important. As South Carolina approaches the June's primary, we ask that you stay informed, ask your questions, research your candidates, and most importantly, exercise your right to vote because your voice matters, your voice matters, your vote matters. And tonight we are signing off you all on Roger that. God
Roger.
bless you all. Until next time, continue to follow.
God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.